in basic production and MRP1 is that you can have a material planning in MRP1. The rest all is same. So there is no change. Here, what you are doing is you are manually creating a production order and stocks and all. So if you have stock or don't have stock, that doesn't matter. You have to get stock and then put an consumption voucher, which is nothing but issues to production, and do receipt from production. That is in basic production. In MRP1, we are going to have a planning for material. I'll just show you that. This one. So I'll direct straight away show you in implant them. Okay. MRP1 training. So I've got a different backup for this MRP1. So I'll just start up with what are the mandatory settings are to be done in MRP1. So coming to the settings. So in the configuration part, so inventory tag is mandatory. Here you need to attach, and here in the preferences you can see there are certain MRP preferences. Let me start with this. First thing is in the settings wizard, you have to select this MRP1 option and you have to update. So initially it will show you something, a table like this, and after updating MRP1 enabled on this company. This is the first setting you have to do when you are using MRP1. So just select MRP1 option in the settings wizard and click on update. Okay, this is point number 1. Okay, and here after this there is the second mandatory option to be considered is designing a workflow. So you need to have a workflow, one relating to sales order and one relating to purchase order. I'll just show you what exactly it is. So I've created a sales flow, which is sales order versus delivery note. This is very simple. I have done, and the mandatory thing what I want is that relates to sales order. So whatever, I mean, for whichever voucher you are relating this to sales order will be my input document for plan. So this document will be my base document for MRP planning. So whatever the data is there in this sales order document, I'll be getting the data in MRP planning screen. I'll process MRP for that. So okay, and similarly, you have to define purchase flow. So whatever the voucher, you are linking it as purchase order. Okay, so that voucher is useful for me to consider the stocks. Okay, these are the two things what we have to make initial settings, mandatory settings for running MRP. Okay, after these two things you have to do reindex completely. Full reindex is required so that system automatically generates and creates the respective menus and procedures for relating to MRP1. Okay, and here after you reindex, you'll get a menu like this. Okay, with MRP process and all. This is just a menu I am showing. In the basic production, you will not have this planning menu. So it will be only transaction report and MRP settings. Here you will have a new menu called planning. Okay, I'll just take you there later. And before that, I'll just go ahead with the settings again. Okay, as I said, in this MRP, we are going to do material plan. So there are two scenarios. One is you would have the available material, you don't have material. So what to do if you don't have material? So you are going to raise a procurement request. That procurement request will be posted into ERP voucher. as on what you are going to select here. Here I have selected material requisition as the voucher to be posted from MRP. So whatever the material to be procured will be sent as a request into this material requisition document. Okay. And these are the normal options. I'll just let you know the options one by one after we see a flow. And the first step is bill of material. It is same common. I have already created a BOM which is a similar one, chair I have created. Here you can see the interface in the thin client. So it is BOM name, code, and type of the BOM. And you have two grids, output grid and input grid. Here also you have option to select, create multiple outputs, okay, and inputs as well as. There is no change in the bill of material screen of basic production and MRP one. So there is no change here. Okay, and in the same way, like here, you can import and export. Okay, next is I'll start up with generating a production order, which is nothing but MRP planning. So in basic production, we have to manually key in. Now here, what I'll do is I'll this is the MRP process screen wherein I can get the list of all the pending orders which need to be planned. So in this screen, I have option to filter the data based on the start date and end date. So I'll select the start date and end date. So if I click on load, all the orders which need to be planned will come into list here. So this can be a sales order and planned independent order, any. And further down, we have option to filter data on a customer or a product. If you have multiple lines here, so if you want to filter on a product or customer, that is option is available. So I'll just take you to one option, one item. So I'm taking the sales order one. Yeah, I will. Okay, and here the first step what you would see is you have to create the production lot or production size. So this can be done automatically with the preference option called lot order policies. So if you are aware of order policies, I'll just brief you on order policies. We support four type of order policies: lot to lot, reorder level, max level inventory, and order to order. Order to order is simple. Whatever the quantity you got order, for that quantity you are going to process. So lot to lot and reorder level are one and same. There is slight change. So what happens is, so when you are creating a production order, when you are going for a production, lot to lot and reorder level, it considers the safety stock to be maintained, what is the minimum lot you can produce, and what is the maximum lot you can produce. Let's say that minimum lot and maximum lot should be, if you are using this lot to lot policy or reorder level policy, it need to be defined in the item master. So for each and every product, you can define your order policies. I'll just take one. Okay, in the replenishment tab of product master, item master, so you have this option to define your order policy. Okay, so what is the replenishment policy? If you set any of the order policy, then automatically it will be applicable in the lot creation in MRP. Okay, I'll just show you one of the lots. So in lot size policy, it will consider safety stock. Let's say I wanted to make safety stock of 50. Okay, and min order quantity, max order quantity. Min order quantity is, let's say, 20, and max order quantity is, let's say, 80. So whenever you are doing, so this will consider these three as values: safety stock, minimum order quantity, maximum order quantity. So I'll take that and I'll reload it just to make that applicable. Okay, you can see lot to lot is automatically picked. and it has given me two lots. One is 80, one is 70. How come 80 and 70 I'll explain. So the 50 quantity is what I intended to put safety stock. Okay, now my production order quantity is 100 and my safety stock is 50. So I have to produce 150. That 150 should be made in two lots because maximum I can produce is 80 in a single lot, maximum production quantity. And taking out the maximum, the rest of the quantity is becoming 70. This is how it works. If it is order to order, then total quantity is coming. Okay. And max inventory is something like whenever you go for production, so you are going to take the value of maximum inventory capacity what you have. So it is very rarely used, but what happens is that whenever they go for production, they'll completely fill their warehouse capacity. And even though the order is 10, if the inventory capacity is 1000, they will make 1000 quantity and keep it in the warehouse. And after that, they keep on just adjusting the stock. Once again, if there is a scenario wherein they have to produce more, again they'll just fill up their warehouse. That is some order policy concept. I'm just taking order to order, and I'll continue now. Okay, here you can see in the next stage, we are going to have the details. Okay, so what is the order name, base document name, item name, and all. Okay, so the order number got generated now, which is production order number 3. Okay, and you will have the details of the BOM, what is attached to that. Okay, all this information. Okay, now you can see I'll explore the bill of material. Now I've just raised an order. Now I'm going to cross check whether I have stock for the inventory, I mean the raw materials what I require to produce check. So in this screen, I can explore the BOM and I have an option to check the stock. This is just for information to the production planning department, so whether they have stocks or not. So here if you can see the BOM quantity and the total quantity. This is the BOM quantities per quantity. Okay, per quantity required to manufacture one chair.
I mean,
and total. Sure.
Just keep the mic little closer or louder your voice. Still, the voice, although it is audible but not understandable, so probably there's something that you need to do about the mic.
1 second, sir.
Or is there any fan or anything running above you which is making this?
Hello. Hello, is it clear now?
It is much clear now, but only when you are saying like this, it's clear. After this, again, it goes back.
Okay. Okay. Maybe it is because of my mic, maybe. Okay. Fine. So here what we are doing is that we are exploring the bill of material, and we have option to cross check the current stock position. This stock position will be excluding of other reservations. For example, you might have already planned for another production order which might require the same raw material, so it will not show that as an available stock. It is purely a clear stock which is free from any other reservations. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is, so if I don't have a raw material, that case, let's say, so I have option to raise a dependent requirement or a purchase request. So purchase request is very simple, like whatever the procurement order I have selected in the preferences, which is material requisition in our case, will be automatically raised from planning. If not, you have one more option called dependent requirement. What happens is, usually most of the companies, so they keep on planning, so individual order might require the same raw material with the different quantities rather than raising multiple purchase requests. So what they do is, end of the day or end of the shift, okay, so they consolidate all the dependent requirements for different orders to be procured, and they'll just send a single purchase request. So that is one option. So here we already have stock, so there won't be any dependent requirement raised. So I'll just show you in the next transaction with bigger quantities wherein we require some stock. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm
Here,
just clicking on.
here before
Yes.
others ask the question, let me ask one question,
Yes,
simple
yes,
question
yes,
here.
yes.
Presumably, let's say I have some quantity
Hmm.
which I can produce, and for some quantity I need to raise purchase request where
Okay,
the quantity, the stock for raw material is not enough.
okay.
So will the system suggest to me that I can split the production into two orders, one which I can produce immediately without waiting for a purchase process to complete, and one where I can raise a dependent requirement or purchase request and then do the remaining after the items have been received?
Sir, for this we are covering in a different way, sir. So the way what you are asking is not available right now. So system will not prompt you that this is what the quantity you can produce, because the production order number is already generated. Because before letting we looking into the stock, we have already generated the production order, which is PO 300. Okay, now after production order is generated, now we are looking at exploding the bill of material, and we are seeing whether stock is available or not. If stock is available, by default it will reserve. It is not available, it will raise a procurement request, sir, or a structure. So what for this option at the time of release, sir, so if you don't have stock, okay, I have an option to restrict to release, and I can what we have is that I can only release the order for which I can produce. That option is available, but not
But how would
one
I
which.
know how much can I produce? Will the system check and say you can release for this much quantity?
No, sir. In the pre-production planning, at the time of taking the order, we have an option that what is the stock availability to be cross-checked, and what is the expected delivery if I am procure. If let's say I have some stock levels, okay, I have got one order. So to fulfill that order, what is the estimated delivery that can be given, but not. What is the quantity I can produce right away, and what is the quantity I have to procure? That option is not there. So it will not
Hmm.
suggest.
Doesn't it look more better to have something like this?
Sir, thing is that, sir, so this is one scenario. Yes, I totally agree with you. But most of the cases, the production planning will be done ahead, maybe 1 month, 2 months, like that, sir. If it is like continuous production, today we are going to get an order, tomorrow I have to execute, then in that case, it is 100% required. But what happens, sir, at the time of planning, we are reserving what is available, and we are seeing what to be procured. Okay, with that production order number. And we have a restriction at the time of release. If we don't have stock, the system will not allow you to release, because planning is done on a weekly basis, or on a much higher this thing. But uh, actually, to the production floor, the instructions will be done through the release production order, sir.
All right, please go ahead, continue. We'll
Okay,
discuss it later.
okay. Okay, fine. Now I'm planning. So here, if you can observe, so we have three columns. I have not yet planned now. So I have three columns: pending quantity, adjusted quantity, and raised quantity. So pending quantity is nothing but the quantity which I require to complete this production. For this production order quantity of chair of 100 pieces. Adjusted will be updated. Adjusted and raised will be updated after planning is done. I'm just clicking on MRP planning, and you can see it got updated now. So I have total stock, so everything is adjusted, nothing is been raised. Okay, if there is any quantity raised under raised column, that will be raising a dependent requirement or a purchase request as per the selection of here. So let's have one more run with a more quantity, and I'll show you that. I'll add a planned independent order with maybe 2000 quantity. Share 2000 quantity. MRP process. I'm just opening. I'm just doing the same transaction one more time with the bigger value of production. So lots breakup I'm taking. So if you can see, the lot are splitting into multiple rows because I have given maximum is 80. So 2000 is splitting into that many lots. So I'm just taking order to order with 2000. Okay, and exploding the BOM, and I'm just getting the stock here. You can see
Here one suggestion I have,
yes, sir.
where you selected the lot order quantity, if there we can have an option of breaking by lot by quantity which can be produced and quantity which needs procurement, then what I said will be taken care of.
Sir, and one more thing, sir, there is one more point to be considered also. It is not mandatory that we are going to reserve for this order only. So I might have raw material. I don't want to reserve now because my due date is somewhere in the next month. Why would I have to reserve now, sir? That is also one point to be considered. But as an information, this is the quantity you can produce as on current stock, and this is and the rest of the quantity. If we can bifurcate, will that be okay, sir? Just an information. So you can produce certain quantity of order.
Fair, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. And I'm just planning. I just click on MRP planning, and you can see 890 got adjusted and 1100, 1110 something got raised. So these are the quantities which I require more in order to fulfill this 2000 quantity of production. So this I have chosen an option. By default it will be raise dependent requirement. So I'm finishing now. So now what happens is that next step will be dependent requirements. Dependent raw material requirements. So this is the screen wherein I'll get all the list of requests that I have received from production team within the production team. So there might be a number of planners planning on different products. So here I'll have all the list here. Okay, so this is further down can be filtered on a production order because we have only one production order which requires raw material, so it is showing only one. So you can further down filter on item as well as production order. Now I'm going to select all, or you can select individually, it's up to you. Okay, so now I'm converting my dependent requirements within the production unit to a procurement request, which is nothing but material requisition. Okay, I'm just selecting that and raise procurement request. So procurement request raised successfully with the document number 2. So the document number what it is raising is as per the preference selection. What is that? Material requisition. So you can see this. Now this has gone to ERP code. So now ERP will have this flow, purchase flow. So material requisition. Then I have designed a flow called material requisition, purchase order, and material receipt note. So that flow to be taken care now. I'm just doing that purchase flow. Purchase orders, pending material requisition. I'm just taking this vendor. I'm just selecting a vendor. I'm saving. Okay, now material requisition, material receipt note, pending purchase orders. Okay, I'll select the raw main. I have only one. Okay. Okay, now I have done my purchase cycle. Now moving on to the balance part of the production order, production cycle. So now next step will be after planning is done. So we are going to have a release production order. So usually what happens, we are going to plan for future dates, so there may be any change due to any circumstances. If you want to have a partial release of the production order, it means giving instructions to continue with the partial quantity of the production order, you have that option. Okay, so either you can directly, if you want to release complete order quantity, then you can release here. If you want to do partially, you can get it here and you can just release partial quantity. Okay, in the landing screen, if you want to release directly, just select that and release the total quantity. You can release the order. Okay, now once the order is released, only then you will be able to issue raw material to the production. Here you can see the filter, only PO3 is being visible. Okay, and that too, it will show only the released quantity, not the production order quantity. I have released 50 out of 100 production order quantity, so it is showing only the released quantity. Okay, rest is same, like I'm going to do issues to production, and I'm going to do receipt from production. Okay, so this is one complete flow, and even in this, like we have option. Okay, now I can also have a job order also for this. I can just raise a job request, which is same as what we have seen there. So you will convert it to a job order, and you will issue to job order, and you will receive job order. So that will be taken care in release production order. I'll just show you. So here, if you have seen, like out of the balance 50 quantity, what I'll do is I'll raise a job order. Let me check if I have selected the job order in the preference or not. Job order. Okay, it is as same, like you select the vendor, issue and receipt, same thing. Okay, and issue and receipt. Next thing is what we have. Planned independent or independent. Okay, so purchase planning. So we have this screen exclusive in MRP1. So what happens is, so the thing what you are selling might not be production always. So it could be a trading item, which is direct purchase item. So for this, what we have made is that your sales order might contain purchase items as well as production items. So we are filtering data on purchase type, and we will just plan here. We'll get those details here. So only the items which are of type purchase will be listed here, and you can just raise a I mean purchase document. Like you can just convert it to a purchase order to the customer, to your vendor. Let me add one planned independent order with purchase item. Wheels are purchase items. Let's say. So material requisition. Just plan. Okay, here you go. Like you have got this. The only thing is you will just raise an order. So this will simply raise a material request. So only thing is we to segregate purchase items and production items, we have given this purchase planning screen. This is asked by one of our customer in Hyderabad, so we have provided this. So under refresh rate, it is same here also. Okay, and we have an option called pre-production. So I said you this is just an information to know for the sales department. So if I start a process, let's say tomorrow, okay, so what is my expected delivery date? So this will only show you I mean, based on the availability of the stock, if you have to procure, if the lead time is, let's say, some number of days, so it will suggest you accordingly, so when it can be delivered. Let's say if I am receiving an order today, okay, if I'm processing on so and so day start date, so it will cross check the availability of the raw material, and I don't have any lead time, so let me put some lead time and show you the difference. Item master, I'm just going to the item master. I'm just I'll keep some lead time to the any of the procurement item. So I'm just putting some lead time of 15 days, let's say. I'm saving it. So I'll come back to the screen again. I'm clearing this, and chair I'm taking. So with, let's say, 10,000 pieces, I want to start with this. And if I explore, you can see the 15 days time. So if I get an order at 12:14, okay, so if I'm tentatively getting that, then max due date is 2704, because I don't have stock of wheels. So if I procure, it would take 15 days of lead time. So it is considering that out of all the raw materials what you have, it will consider the maximum lead time, if you can see here. Okay, so it will give you a tentative expected delivery date, which you can confirm to your customers. So this is pre-production order screen what we have in MRP1, and rest is that. So backflush. Backflush is as good as like a production process screen. I'll just show you that. Already we have processed screen. Okay, let me release some quantity. Releasing the total quantity. Production order released. Backflush. So in the backflush, I'll just select the order. Okay. So I just come out of this. So automatically system will give you the list of items what need to be issued and received. So you can do this transaction simultaneously. Again, I want to repeat here, it is just it picks the value from the bill of material. It is as good as the production process screen, and you can use production process screen as it is if it is a linear view. If it is multiple hierarchy also, you go for backflush without process. The only difference, I would repeat one more time, if it is a single hierarchy bill of material, you can use our existing production process screen. If it is a multi-hierarchy BOM, then you can use backflush screen.